The real question, can you master Newcastle in 100 games?
Savior. Newcastle has been called a lot of things, but no one really knows the man behind the mask.
I bring hope to the hopeless.
In this video, we're going to walk you through what it is to play Newcastle 100 games to decide if you can master him or if he is the right legend for you. Stick around because in this video, we're going to run through all of the tips and tricks for Newcastle we learned in 100 games. We're also going to put him in a tier list for solo queue, whether it's normals, whether it's ranked, team format, etc. But we're going to run you through all that you need to know to help you decide whether this legend is the right choice for you. That being said, most of the clips we have are really going to reference what we're talking about, so I'm not going to put a whole lot of extra items on the screen to confuse you and make you work harder on mastering Newcastle. I basically will kind of walk you through the clips, how we played it, why we played it, the good, the bad, the ugly, you name it. We're going to tell you what to do. Real quick, 30 seconds, let's go over the abilities. His passive allows you to drag your teammates with your color knockdown shield. That is why the preferred gold knockdown goes to Newcastle, as it will revive them with more life. You can use this thing. We'll go through some tips on how to use it better, but that is his passive. His tactical is the mobile shield. This is basically just a huge shield right in front of you. Has 750 health. You can use it to angle yourself to better positions, just blocking coming damage, but that's his tactical. In his ultimate, the castle wall will bring up a castle wall with 9 pieces, all with 750 health to help you and your team stick behind it. Also does some stun damage to people touch it as it is launched. Now let's get into it. We played 100 games with Newcastle in ranked, both on the main account and the Smurf account. So we want to make sure we had a good feel of competitive integrity to tell you whether this legend is good or not. In my previous videos, we discussed that I strictly have played most of the top tier legends for the first 5 seasons I've played this game. We've played the Masters all 5 seasons, but we've really played only the tier legends. We've set off on this journey to play every single legend for 100 games to let you know if you can master them, but also to gain some knowledge on these legends themselves. Well, that being said, we went into this with 0 knowledge of Newcastle, and these are the results for playing him for 100 games. While my personal opinion of this legend was he's very weak, I think strategically he may be one of the better legends to play, but the highest skill cap overall. Your ability to strategically pick up your teammates, use their knockdown shield while also using a shield to close short distances where you may not be able to make it is astronomical. So we're going to go through some of the clips that I think are important to learn this legend. First thing we learned, you have got to use this tactical way better than I started using it. I started throwing this thing out as a grenade. It provides you nothing long range, more short range. You can also throw it too close to obstacles, hillsides, and basically it has a hard time struggling to move. I will say this for sure. I am on mouse and keyboard, but I could definitely see this being a huge issue on a controller, trying to control this, macro it while fighting. But again, you need to keep this thing close to you. Here's a great example of how to use it. Again, in this clip, I think I threw it a little too far. I tried to bring it back to me, and then I had a hard time with it catching up. But in this example, this is a premium way of how to use this to really be the aggressor. I know people think these legends are for the passive, but you really can play this very strong. Again, once this thing finally catches up, I'm basically able to isolate one teammate and fight the other ones. Again, great usage of it. I think it provides a ton of utility long term. You just have to master its placement. I'll say really around the 30, 40, maybe 50 game mark, we really learned how to utilize this shield a whole lot better. Again, shooting in front of it, backing behind it to reload, allowing the enemy to shoot into it. There's a whole lot of big plays you can make here. You can definitely split up enemies by doing this. Again, in this clip, if we don't get hit with that big old PK shot, this is a great opportunity to really turn a big play around. So again, utilize this thing in and out. Don't stay in it too long. It's almost identical to the Gibby shield, but I think it provides a little bit more mobility, the fact that you can move it versus the Gibby bubble. Again, this is a great example that doesn't go our favor, but we are in a 1v3 here. The ability to move this shield in and out to still put out some big damage is really impressive. I think it provides a whole lot more mobility, and again, it takes a while to master. I definitely want to stop right here and tell you we're going to do this with every single legend. We've already completed Caustic. You can see it right here, but again, please do not forget to like and subscribe. We appreciate your support. Let me know in the comments, what do you want next? We got more to cover, but just want to give you a breakdown of where I think this guy fits. In solo queue, think he's a C tier. Team queue, a D tier. I think his difficulty is hard, and I think the mastery is hard as well. A fun legend, but can be very challenging to make work. As far as this passive was concerned, this thing was pretty much really challenging to master, in a sense of there are a whole lot more plays, I think, if you play them longer, that you can master. I felt like I did a really good job overall of angling where this thing was. Probably didn't have a big enough focus that, again, the color of your knockdown shield is the shield you pull up to provide. So again, if you have a gold on your team, you most definitely want to have that gold on you. However, you can really make big plays with this. Again, it took us a little bit longer than anything else to really felt like we mastered. However, again, you have a whole lot of opportunity here to make big plays out of pulling your teammates. Again, this is why we talk about practice. I still think there's a whole lot more we could have learned if we continued playing him. I feel like a lot of time I just used the res in a sense of just pick them up. Of course, angling them towards enemies, but there are times where I could have used this to almost pull them out. I could have, again, in this example, I could have threw the shield down first and then rezzed. However, I just let my dead teammate now crawl up the stairs. So there are more plays you definitely can make. You want to make sure you strategically have an idea of when you're going to res someone, how you're going to do it. This clip, I feel like we did a better job. This is probably later in our 100 game trial here, but our teammate gets knocked out in the middle of the open. And again, we use the ult here just to close the distance. And then what we do from here is make sure that we pull the shield up. And so again, we're getting cover here from my shield, the tactical, along with the knockdown shield. So again, we did a much better job as we progress with here instead of just picking them up. Try to put a little more effort and strategy into it. This was probably one of the more enjoyable moments with the knockdown shield. Again, I used this pretty strategically here. Not so much because I wanted to pull off the res, but I wanted to mess with this person a little bit enough to stop shooting or shoot the knockdown just to get the finish. So again, there are great ways to make plays with this thing, even outside just rezzing. And boom. Look at that. That's a nasty, nasty sauce. While I think his ultimate can provide some really good end game utility, I felt it a little bit lackluster at times in the middle of small fights. Again, in this example here, we simply just used it to get back to our teammate. Again, you know, I think you can make better plays with this overall, but again, I just didn't find a time where I really felt like I outplayed with this thing. What I will say that I really did like is that almost at endgame, if you find yourself out in the middle of the open, if you can use a little bit of the terrain, you can almost make your own POI. Again, sometimes I think people just refuse to shoot it. Again, each block of the 9 blocks of his tactical wall has 750 health, so people are just not shooting it. But it does provide you a little bit better opportunity for higher placement when you don't find yourself locking in a building at end game. So again, I think the potential there is better. If you're able to cater this a little bit more inside or outside, there are bigger plays you can probably make with it. However, again, I just don't think that this thing is as good as some of the other control support legends provide in game. I still think there's opportunity for big plays. Just don't think we had a whole lot of them we made. While I do think it had a great amount of travel distance to your teammates, I just think this was better off being an obstacle over here to help take cover in. Don't necessarily think I used it very well and just getting to my teammates that were taking a lot of damage. There's not a whole lot of examples where I think I used that real well. This is probably the best one coming up right here. However, as you can see in this clip, did a great job utilizing it. From here down, my teammate probably could have picked my teammate up, decided to continue fighting. So again, could have played this a whole lot better. However, again, I think a whole lot of opportunity. The legend probably takes a whole lot more time now. Again, here's some just pretty cool clips of, again, using his tactical to provide incoming damage. We stop the knuckle clusters here.
Blocked it perfectly.
Next clip, we go ahead and we stop all the grenades from coming in. So again, a whole lot of big ability playmaking. It's a legend that is more challenging to master. Overall, as this being the second legend review we've done in 100 games, I will say he's now #1 as far as fun to play. I will say I felt a little frustrated at times. I could have made better plays if I had practiced with him a little bit more. Felt like my awareness would be a little bit more locked in. But overall, I think he could be a great legend in a team comp or solo queue if you can master some of the small tips and tricks and improve your awareness and make the big plays happen. With that being said, if you made it to the end of this video, we greatly appreciate your support of this channel. We're not quite sure which legend we want to do next, so we're going to feed through your comments below in the section, and we'll do our next 100 game review then. I appreciate your time. We'll see you next time, gamers. Get out there and rank up.